Hey everybody, just a reminder that you can buy all sorts of Cult Popture merch from teespring.com/stores/cult-popture. Hello and welcome along once again to the Cult Popture podcast. You're joining us for the third leg of the hardest race I've ever done in my life. This is the third episode of an ongoing series of film franchise Fortnights where myself and my buddy Richard, say hello Richard. Hello.
Your ear buddy, if you will.
Oh, stop.
Because we're on the ear together.
Yeah, that's true. And we're in each other's ears because we've got headphones on talking to each other. Ear buddy. Continue the franchise already. So this is our third earbud episode. God, what are we doing? If this is the first one you've listened to, maybe listen to the last two, I guess. I don't know how much sense this will make. It'd probably sound like the ramblings of a bunch of lunatics. Speaking of lunatics, we've got another lunatic on the show with us today. Please give a warm Cult Popture welcome, whether you're on the bus listening to this, whether you're driving to work. I want you to take your hands off the steering wheel and start clapping for Kate Barkley from Pups'n'PopCulture podcast. Hey, Kate.
Hi. I don't know if I like being called a lunatic. No, that's fair. Completely fair. I agree.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh way to to introduce it.
I know. I was like, geez.
I don't know why. I'm sorry. Already we're off to a rough start.
Yep.
So, rough. So, Kate,
Woof,
one of the reasons we reached out to you to come on this podcast is because while we review plenty of dog films, among other films that we talk about on this podcast, you on your podcast, you exclusively even review dog movies. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's sort of, I mean, the name kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? But I mean, like, it's sort of a mix of dogs in pop culture, like literature and TV and movies and things. And I also talk to dog mums and dads about their stories with their dogs. So it's a bit of a mix of everything. But yeah, we do just dog movies, and wow, there's been some doozies.
I listened to one of yours recently that was on a film called The Dog Who Saved Easter, which regretfully led me to discovering there's a whole series of Dogs Who Saved X movies, which are now added to our list of films that we will probably land on at some point in the future.
Probably directly after finishing Earbud.
I'm excited. We're planning on doing the Halloween one, and we sort of toyed with the idea of doing summer. My co-host is in America, and she's experiencing summer at the moment, and we're definitely going to do the Christmas ones, but we're also little sad fans of Dean Cain, or maybe that's just me, maybe not her so much, but yeah, they've all got Dean Cain in them, so yeah, I'm excited.
That's great. He's exactly the actor who would be in every Dog Who Saved movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's added to our list now, so that'll happen probably. We've done so many dog franchises, and this is just, it's driven me barking mad. That's good. That'll do.
All right.
I don't even like puns. This is what this franchise has done to me. Anyway, unlike the last week where we had to review 7 talking dog, talking puppy movies, this week, thankfully, we only had to do 2 films, and those films were the Santa Paws films, which of course consist of The Search for Santa Paws and Santa Paws 2, The Santa Pups. I'm here, guys. I'm present. So the Santa Paws films are prequels to the 4th Ear Buddies film, Santa Buddies, which details the adventures of Santa's dog and his friends. Well, it kind of does. That's what they should be about, but I don't know if that's really what they are about. It's also important to note that these films were released concurrently with the Ear Buddies films. The first film coming out of the year after Santa Buddies, and the second film coming out the same year as Treasure Buddies. So we didn't go from the Buddies into the Santa Paws movies. They were at the same time. And they're also both directed by our man Robert Vince, who's broken his own record for director who's directed the most films that we've covered on this podcast.
Our boy.
Yeah, our boy.
I don't think anyone can ever beat him as well.
No, I think you look at his Wikipedia page and it's a sight to behold. So yeah, the series. This series is the first time on the podcast that we have covered a spin-off series to a spin-off series, as this series is a direct spin-off to Ear Buddies, which in turn is a spin-off to Ear Bud. This is also our 8th dog-themed franchise and our 5th dog-themed franchise in a row, though this one and the one before it were intentionally chosen by us, so this is more of a statement on how many dog movies there are than like a statement on like the cosmic nature of this podcast. It's not a complete coincidence, but it's close.
And also, this is our second time doing a prequel on the podcast.
Is it really? Is it only second?
Well, there was Monsters University. I can't
maybe
think of. I mean,
some of the Freddy vs. Jason movies were out of order, but I don't know if that's yeah, like Jason X is like a distant set, and then it flashes back. Yeah.
But some of the Godzilla does that as well. Destroy All Monsters is like the 6th one, but then all the ones after that take place before it.
Yeah. What do you think of the extended mythology of our podcast, Kate? Having listened to every episode, of course.
No, I'm glad it's not me.
Well, I don't know, because while you only have to like consume one piece of media per podcast, they're all like I loathe dog franchises now. So
Yeah.
they're all just, they all descend into this by the numbers yet somehow profoundly strange. It's always the same film over and over again.
Yeah. It's dogs all the way down.
Yep. I don't know how you managed to watch all those Air Buddy movies. I listened to your podcast on the Air Buddies and I was like, oh my God, I could not watch. What was there, 7? 7 in a row? Oh, no thanks. No thanks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they vary wildly in quality, but they're also all not that great. Mm-hmm. So it's varying from like 30% to 0%.
Yeah. And having to watch one a day as well.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, because that's right. Even though this is film franchise Fortnights, we're doing it weekly to get through Ear Buddies so that we're not doing it for 2 months.
Yeah. And I've kept a list of every film I've watched this year, and the last film I watched before we started this was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And the only non-Ear Buddies, Ear Bud related movie I've watched since that is I went to go see Skyscraper 2 nights ago.
Nice.
And everything else has just been Ear Bud.
I'm obsessed. Give me all the Ear Bud. So the first film in the Santa Paws series that we watched, I guess, was called The Search for Santa Paws, and that came out in 2010, directed by Robert Vince. No Rotten Tomatoes critic score, as per usual with these kinds of films, but it does have an audience score of 62%. Now, Kate, would you do us the honours of kind of like telling us what this film is about? Would you be able to do that for us?
Oh, I'm bad at summarizing films. I just go straight to IMDb. But look, I mean, basically what I was thinking is this is like a Christmas-themed Annie ripoff with dogs.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Way to put it. Yeah.
But no, I mean, so like, I'm struggling. Hang on 2 seconds. Can I bring up the...
That's okay.
I'll bring up this.
I'll just throw out random words and see if they jog your memory. North Pole.
Santa.
Santa.
Dog. Stuffed dog.
Did you say banter, AJ?
I said Santa.
You're like banter.
Banter. The banter between Santa and Santa Paws is amazing.
Doing it for the lads.
Yeah.
So
absolute unit.
The one summary that I did read that basically sums it up: Santa Claus and his faithful companion Santa Paws leave their chilly home in the North Pole on an important mission. They must persuade the heir of one of their greatest benefactors, toy store owner Mr. Hucklebuckle, to continue his grandfather's good works. But I mean, like, there's this whole weird Orphan Annie plot going on, and I was just like, I told you I watch these every Christmas, and I think how I get through them is I probably don't watch them. I just kind of have them on in the background.
Let's go back to what you just said. So you've seen these movies more than once?
Wait, should I not admit to that?
Wow, no, I just can't fathom doing that. So I am in awe, I am fascinated and a little bit intimidated that you're able to do that.
Well, I like cheesy Christmas movies, but watching
this is
them
something else though.
Yeah.
watching them as a, fun thing to do at Christmas versus analysing for a podcast, I'm like, oh God, why did I sign up for this?
Yeah. Like AJ told me a few days ago, he's like, "Oh, Kate said she watches these every Christmas," and I was like, "If we're talking to someone who genuinely loves these films, I don't know how I'm gonna be polite to her. I don't know how I'm gonna respect it."
I like them to the extent of, they're fun to watch at Christmas, like the dogs, but no, you can bag the shit out of them. I don't care.
Okay. Interesting. So have you seen Santa Buddies as well?
I have, and I was kind of confused and continue to be confused at the continuity between them.
Oh, do not worry, we will get to that. That was a great synopsis. Thank you, Kate/IMDb. We should do that probably for all the synopses that we do, because we always struggle through them. Back in the early days of the podcast, we tried to summarize them as a character from the film.
That's right.
But it just didn't work out. It didn't continue on.
Yeah, we just stopped it randomly. Yeah.
Well, not every film has an iconic character to impersonate.
Look, IMDb is my go-to place because there's some great user synopsis written on there, so I'm just like, no, I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah. I also love their user-generated trivia. That's my favorite.
There's one on, I haven't written it down, but we can look at it later maybe. There's one for Santa Paws 2 that's just a sentence that it loses its way at the fourth word and then doesn't make it back by the end of the entire piece of trivia. And so you're just reading nonsense. I'll try to find that later on. So the search for Santa Paws, despite being noted for its predictability, it was given more or less a positive review on christiancinema.com. So they loved it.
Okay.
So, which is interesting, isn't it? That Christian Cinema would have loved this film, because they even is it this one or the second one that explicitly mentions Jesus and that kind of stuff? It might be both of them. But then they also did this. This is the same production company that made Spooky Buddies, which, by the way, something someone commented on our Facebook page. You should go read the Rotten Tomatoes parental advisory for Spooky Buddies, because it is hilarious. Everyone's talking about how it's scary. There's one review that comments on how much dog genitalia you see. Which I'm not pointing fingers, but I didn't notice that when I watched it. And then there's this one review from someone who's 10 years old, and it says, "Oh, this movie's awesome. I really like it. It reminded me of Alvin and the Chipmunks. The buddies should meet up with Alvin and the Chipmunks." I was like, this kid's continuing the franchise.
That might make an improvement on it.
God.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you've just jinxed us. We're going to get Alvin and the Chipmunks next.
Yeah, we will. This always happens, Kate. We'll always mention some obscure movie series, and then that's the next one we get. Okay, so people of varying levels of fame who appear in the search for Santa Paws include Richard Reel, who was, of course, in Treasure Buddies, where he played the disturbingly positive and generous grandfather. He plays Santa Claus in this. And because he doesn't play him in Santa Paws 2, which came out the same year as Treasure Buddies, so I wonder if that is why. It might also explain why Treasure Buddies is the worst one.
Yeah, they're focusing on their resources.
Yeah. Danny Woodburn reprises his role as Eli the Elf from Santa Buddies, as does Richard Kind as the role of Eddie the Dog from Santa Buddies. Deirdre Bader also returns as Comet the Reindeer. And Josh Flitter, who's a celebrity within this podcast, is back from the Earbud series. This time he's voicing T-Money the Bulldog.
Oh, dear.
Who I guess was supposed to be a black guy, but isn't.
Yep.
But instead they cast Ace Ventura Jr.
Yeah.
He was a hip-hop bulldog. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he's like, it's like a Slim Shady
You
situation.
have a little respect, Ajay. He's a hip-hop
come on.
bulldog.
Zachary Gordon of Diary of a Wimpy Kid voices Paws, and at the end of the film, Paws becomes Santa Paws, where he's voiced by Mitchell Musso of Hannah Montana.
Wow.
Most interestingly, though, I thought, anyway, interesting is a relative term when talking about the search for Santa Paws. Bill Hobbs plays Mr. Stewart, who is the caseworker in this film who is enacting the will of Mr. Hucklebuckle. So he's the one who goes to the new Hucklebuckles and is like, oh, if you want to own the store, you have to own it through one successful Christmas season. But I don't know if you noticed, Richard, but this is Bill Hobbs' second appearance in the Air Bud cinematic universe after he played Arthur Chaney, the ex-basketball star turned high school basketball coach from the original Air Bud film. So he's quite a big character in the original Air Bud.
Did not notice that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either. So those are
One thing that I noticed is that he was the token black guy in a very white movie.
Yeah.
These are all very white movies.
And also,
Right?
once again, I noticed, like, every time you're like, these are the only famous people in the movie. And I'm like, oh, and there was this one. That Mrs. Stout is, I can't remember her name, but she's in, like, Bridesmaids and
right.
something else.
No, I'm glad you do that because I get bored. Because I don't even know how interesting this segment is. Like, are people tuning in and being like, oh, I can't wait to find out what people I don't, like, have never heard of are in this movie. Because I don't know. Out of all these people, the only ones I would know by name if I didn't do this podcast would be Richard Kind. And even then, I'd confuse him with Richard Kahn, who is also an earbud.
I only know him by face.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
I looked him up and I was like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's been in a ton of stuff. The only person that I know in this movie, in the first one, by name is Bonnie Somerville. So, I mean, she's sort of like a B-grade actor. One of my faves, got to be honest. Don't really know why, but...
I don't think she's in the first one. Not to tread on your toes. Is she?
Bonnie Somerville?
Is she in the
she's
first
the
one or
mum,
the second
Kate.
one? Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
The
sorry,
wannabe
Kate.
mum, Kate.
I'm sorry.
Also, the other thing that Wendy McLendon Covey is from is Reno 911.
Great. Fantastic. Anyway, this film drove me insane. We've watched a lot of movies for this podcast that weren't aimed at our demographic, but watching this movie nearly gave me like a profound mental breakdown. Like, there is a song sung by the Orphan Girls in this movie that's about the Christmas spirit, and I don't think I've ever consumed a piece of media that was so intensely not meant for me. Like, watching this, I had heart palpitations because I was like, I am not supposed to watch this. This is not meant for a dude in his mid-20s to watch. This is a movie for little girls that their parents put on and then leave the room.
Yeah, I like screamed during this song. I was like watching it. It was like first thing in the morning because I was like, if I don't watch this as soon as I get out of bed, I'm just never going to do it. And it got to that song and I was like,
it is like my jaw dropped when it gets so I'm gonna sing a part for you now.
Oh dear.
This is how the chorus goes. So they're all dancing around the orphanage singing about Christmas spirit, and the chorus goes, there'll be laughter, there'll be song, we'll go caroling all night long.
But you're not like properly capturing the fact that like none of the girls can hit that high note. It's like we'll go carrying on night long.
It is insane. And then what's the next? It's like, I believe in Christmas, I believe in love, and it's like it's actually like these two movies were harder to watch than any of the Air Buddies movies.
Yeah, this movie was the hardest it's ever been to get through a film.
Oh my god. Kate, what did you think?
Wow, I'm afraid to say anything now.
She's like, that song's my ringtone.
Maybe because I have maybe the mentality of a 12-year-old girl. I liked it. I don't know.
I liked it in the sense that that it's very effective. like in a way, it was so staggering that I was like, I'm enjoying myself because this is like someone made a parody of a hard to watch movie and made me watch it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to put it. I mean, I found this time, like, watching it, I was, like, surprised at how many sort of similarities it had with Annie. I was like, wow, I never really noticed that before. And again, is that because I don't really pay attention when I watch it? I just kind of half tune in. Oh, look at the dog. Oh, yay, Christmas tune. That kind of thing. But it really surprised me. It really surprised me.
I haven't actually seen Annie. Is it? I know vaguely what it's about. Is it a Christmas movie?
Cameron Diaz is
No,
in
it's not.
No, it's not. Okay.
Oh, I guess there's a bit of Christmas in it, I think. It's been a while since I've seen it. But I mean, the basic premise is like an unadoptable girl gets adopted by a rich old dude. It's a bit creepy now that you mention it this way. But, there's all these songs in the orphanage. Well, there's like all these weird songs in the orphanage, and there's this, the mean woman that runs the orphanage. It's basically what you're seeing in Santa Paws.
Yeah, it's definitely like, it's like a blueprint kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So I have got a piece in the next section of the show when we talk about the second film where I'm basically going to tear into an actress who's probably...
Thank God.
Probably 7 years old in this film. So we won't talk about that now. But what I did want to talk about, and we will talk about this more when we talk about titles... this film isn't really about searching for Santa Paws.
Oh my God, it's not at all about the search for Santa Paws.
No, it's not.
Well, for starters, he doesn't become Santa Paws till the end when he's safe and sound. like no one's searching for him once he's Santa Paws. But the story is sort of more. There's three stories in this movie. There's Paws is he's created out of the magical icicle that was set up in Santa Buddies. And he's wandering around the city, around New York. And then there's also the story of the orphans in the orphanage who have like a comically evil headmistress. and then the other story is Santa who gets hit by a car when he goes to New York and can't remember anything. So... The search for... No one's really searching for Santa Paws. They're searching for Santa.
Yeah, it's such a weird title.
Back in the North Pole, they're searching for Santa. But no one's searching for Paws.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider that. But yeah, I looked at the title, I was like, why is it called The Search for Santa Paws?
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking for him briefly when he turns back into the stuffed toy and he's in the incinerator. True. Does that count?
Yeah, maybe like it's named after this.
It's named after Spice section.
Yeah. And it's funny because like if it was the Legend of Santa Paws, right? It's just as generic, but it's not as specific, so it's fine.
Return of Santa Paws.
Yeah, they picked the specific word that makes it not work, and that is search. All right, so that was... What did you guys have anything else you wanted to comment on the first Search for Santa Paws movie?
Oh God, I've got so much to comment on.
Please, go ahead.
I think one of the things that, like, obviously with these movies, they're just, the plots are so contrived, but from the get-go, when, the Huckles or the Hucklebuckles are talking about kids and stuff, and there's an orphanage, I'm like, oh God, how many of these orphans is she going to get? How many is she going to adopt?
Yeah.
It really, really annoyed me, that bit. The other thing was the tone was like a bit 50s, like the outfits and stuff in a modern world. Did you guys notice that?
Well, it is a prequel, so...
but it's not set in like 1950. It's set in a modern era.
Yeah.
It should be. Yeah. It really should be. That was kind of my two bones to pick.
No,
really.
You're right. They're technically prequels. But like they both seem like they're set in contemporary areas. And this is something I was going to talk about later, but we'll talk about it now. And this is the interim between the two films. It's interesting how, along with the original Santa Buddies films, they all have a fairly consistent mythology, right? like the magic icicle and the Christmas wish granting crystals. Like, these are things made for Santa buddies that carry over into the two Santa Paws movies. But at the same time, there's so many inconsistencies, like, not to get ahead of ourselves, but Santa Paws has puppies in the second film, the Santa Pups, and none of them are called Puppy Paws, which was the only puppy he had in Santa Buddies.
Like Santa Paws, Puppy Paws is like a title you earn.
Yeah, exactly. And also, this is reminiscent of the Air Buddies series, which ignores the original litter of puppies that Buddy has in the Air Bud series. So,
but it's the same person making all of them.
Yeah, so that's weird. And it's also weird that the recasting is on another level here, because all the movies have recasting in them, but they're more or less still the same characterization. And even though Danny Woodburn and Richard Kind act as the biggest constant across all three films, Santa and Mrs. Claus are not only recast in each movie, but they portray like wildly different interpretations of those characters.
Yeah,
that was so bizarre.
So the next thing I've written here is all about Caitlin Mayher, who has actually a role in all three films where she plays a different character. But before we get to that, we're just going to have something we haven't really done before on this show. We're just going to have a quick little ad break. Is it an ad break? They're not paying us. We've done a promo swap so we've been talking to other podcasts and trying to promote each other. So we're just going to play you guys a little teaser right now for a little podcast called Suck My Fic. So we'll be back in just a second.
Hi, I'm Austin.
And I'm Cameron, and we host a fan fiction podcast called Suck My Fic.
Have you ever wondered who would win in a fight between Big Bird and Guy Fieri?
Or maybe you're wondering, is there any possible way Eeyore could get any hotter?
Put those questions to bed, because Suck My Fic is reading all those gross fan fictions hidden in the darkest corner of the web. No more will you be plagued with the burning question of who R2 is D2F.
Because every Monday, we showcase the worst, yuckiest, stupid, crazy fan fictions starring some of the weirdest combinations of characters you could possibly imagine.
Hodor and Groot?
Oh yeah.
Cory in the House and Dr. House.
You got it, baby. Come hear us freak out as we read all about Professor Dumbledore's weird kinks. But it's not kink shaming. It's just super fun and super uncomfortable. Suck My Fic.
You can find us at suckmyfic.com or on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, or almost anywhere where you can get your podcasts. Come listen to us discuss what kind of nasty stuff we think Shaggy has made Scooby do for a Scooby snack.
Doink, Scoob!
All right.
We're back.
Welcome back, everybody.
They sound hilarious.
They actually do. You should check. I checked out their first episode, and it is almost too funny because it's also very dirty. So I couldn't listen to it as soon as my parents came home, because I live with my parents. I need to stop bringing that up.
And we're recording this in different cities.
Yeah. All right. So the second film we watched for this podcast was called Santa Paws 2: The Santa Pups, and that came out in 2012, also directed by Robert Vince. It doesn't have a Rotten Tomatoes score, but it does have an audience score of 55%, so a little lower than the first film. Richard, can you tell us what this film is about?
All right, I'll try. So the and I'm going to need you to fact check the names on this. But
okay.
Santa Paws gives birth, Mrs. Paws
Correct,
gives
that's
birth,
her name.
gives birth to 4 puppies, 3 girls and a boy. And can you give me their names and personalities?
Okay, so no, their names are Noble. Noble's the dude.
Oh yeah, there's Hope,
Charity, and
Chastity.
Oh, you're gonna make me look up Santa Paws 2 again. Yeah, so he has puppies.
It was the singing one, wasn't it?
Is it what? Aren't they all singing?
Oh yeah, Jingle.
Jingle.
Jingle,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
and she's a real bad singer, which is interesting as well. That I thought this while watching Air Buddies, that like, so there's in Air Buddies there's 5 puppies that have their own like stereotypes, and then there's another 4 in this, and I found it interesting in Air Buddies that none of them had this, but there hasn't been like the intelligent or like nerdy one.
Right.
Which seems like if you were listing like tropes of
Yeah.
like character archetypes, that would be like one of the first ones you do. And it's kind of interesting because it helps the plot because they get into more zany situations and don't know how to get themselves out if there isn't one that's like the smart one.
Yeah.
Because
That's true.
whatever the plot needs, like sometimes B-Dog would be real smart, sometimes what's her name?
Rosebud.
Rosebud would be real smart just because she was the girl and girls are smarter.
Well, on the Wikipedia page for Santa Paws 2, when it says the names of all the buddies, the Santa pups, very different.
Someone's just stopped listening.
Yeah. It says Noble is the only male Santa pup and the leader of the Santa pups. I didn't pick up on him being any kind of leader. That sounds like presumption there.
That sounds like the patriarchy.
I thought he was kind of like a dumb boy leading girls into trouble.
Yeah, exactly. There's also Hope, who is one of the Santa pups who is always ready to take action. What a defined trait to have. Then there's also
You go,
Charity.
girl.
Yeah, there's also Charity, who still needs to live up to her name. Okay,
She doesn't
I did
like
not-
to share.
Oh, okay. And Jingle, who loves to sing. So there you go. What
But
else
get
happens?
this, she's bad.
Okay,
So anyway,
I got it.
Through plot reasons, the Santa pups end up in the city. What's the city they end up in?
Pineville.
Pineville,
where anything is possible.
where most things.
And so they stole the like Christmas crystals that give them the power to grant Christmas wishes, and because they're like, oh, we're going to be the best Christmas dogs ever, we're going to grant like every wish. Until you've got this old regular bloody Scrooge around town who goes, oh, I hate Christmas, and he goes, and so
He's like 12 years old, by the way.
and he's a dick. But they,
I think that poor child's got serious depression. Don't call him.
Yeah, his mum, the main human family, the mother has died, much as often the way in the Air Buddies. I hope I'm never in an Air Buddies movie because parents do not do well in these movies.
yeah. Then who would you live with?
And yeah, so there's it passes the dead parents test with flying colours.
Oh yeah, how does it do it?
So they're praying, they're saying grace, and the little girl is like, thank you. I can't remember. It's some stupid thing how we lost mum a year ago and dredges the whole conversation down. Anyway, continue with what the movie's about.
Yeah, so they're going around being like, oh, we're going to grant all the wishes. And then one of them is like, I'm going to grant the next wish I hear. And this little curmudgeon says, I wish all this Christmas spirit would just go away. And then, he's already, in the process of granting the next wish. So then the Christmassiest town in America stops being so Christmassy. It gets a Christmas cold, which is like a lack of Christmas spirit can be passed from person to person. And it eventually
Which I
turns
think
into
is what retail people get in September.
Zing!
No, that was good. Good joke. Then it turns into a Christmas flu, because that's how colds work.
Yeah.
Then the save the day and shit. So, but the initial setup of like granting Christmas wishes and accidentally granting one that wishes like Christmas would go away, I really like that as a setup.
Totally.
Like
I do
that,
too.
that could be a really good Christmas film. Like that could be the Santa Claus, Tim Allen's The Santa Claus 4.
Yeah. I did like that, and despite the fact that this one apparently got negative reviews, I couldn't find out what ChristianCinema.com thought of it. But a lot of other review sites called the film lazy and boring, which it is. But
Yeah.
upon reflection, I do think it's probably better than the first one.
Yeah, agreed.
For a lot of the reasons you just said. I also liked how, other than just it being a good premise, I like how the Santa Pups were nowhere near as defined as the Air Buddies, so they're not as much of an archetype. And even what we read before, they're such vague things that there's more focus on there should be more focus on their individual actual personalities. Maybe there isn't. I couldn't distinguish between them, except for the boy, because he's got a spot on his eye.
Yeah.
And he's the leader, of course.
Yeah, he's the lead. He bosses them all around, doesn't he?
Yeah. And so I thought, though, we talked last week about how if you're sexist enough to give Rosebud from the Air Buddies her only basic defining trait is that she's the girl, then it's weird that there's so many boy characters in the Air Buddies films. Like all the buddies are boys except for Rosebud. And so I thought with that in mind, it makes sense then that you would have more female puppies than male puppies, especially because these films are so clearly targeted at little girls, way more than the Air Buddies felt like they were for kids. These ones felt like they were for little girls. So yeah, and on that topic as well, I actually liked that Mrs. Claus is the main character kind of in this film. Like she is way more of a presence in this film than Santa, and I don't think I've ever seen that in a Christmas film before, like a film about Mrs. Claus, So that was cool.
What about the Santa Claus?
I think there's a few out there.
Are there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to find them. You've got to just like search in the dark depths of Christmas movies to find them. But yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, you just got to know where to look, man.
Well,
Yep.
Santa Paws 2 has inspired me to go look for them.
New podcast idea.
Yeah. It's specifically about Mrs. Claus-led Christmas movies. So, back to what we were teasing before. And probably what is the weirdest casting decision, and there are people of varying fame who appear in this movie, including Cheryl Ladd of Charlie's Angels, who plays Mrs. Claus, George Newbern, who plays Santa, Danny Woodburn, Richard Kind, Dedrick Bader, and ill returners Eli, Eddie, and Comet. Josh Flitter is back as a bulldog, this time without the racism. Tom Everett Scott and Bonnie Somerville, she is in this one as well, play Mr. and Mrs. Paws. And a bunch of Disney Channel actors play the Santa Pups. Who cares? But so there's one distinction that a certain actress can make for the extended Santa Buddies Santa Paws series, and that is Caitlin Mayer, the child actress, the child Atlas. She's carrying the world on her shoulders. She more or less plays the same character in both the first and second Santa Paws films, but they're inexplicably different characters. And she has the distinction for being the only person that I could find who's in all three Santa Buddies, Santa Paws 2, who not only plays different characters, but transcends the voice actor barrier to be an on-screen actor, as well as playing different characters and being in 3 films. And she fucking sucks in these movies. So I looked her up, and she won like America's Got Talent or something, and she's got an album, and I'm sure
she didn't win.
No, she competed.
Oh, okay.
She didn't even do that well.
I'm sure she's a wonderful girl, but
she's 14 now.
Oh God! So in the first film, she's barely acting. She responds to things like this. So the first film was more just this is she's not trying or doesn't know how to act, I should say, because it's not necessarily her fault. But in the second film, oh my God, she's trying this time. And it's even worse. She's trying so hard, but it's all for naught. She talks to Mrs. Claus in Santa Paws 2 after Mrs. Claus hears her singing about her dead mum in a song called Blue Christmas. That's like, this isn't a cheery song you would broadcast out to the entire town. But so Mrs. Claus hears her singing, and she's like, "Oh, who taught you to sing?" And Sarah says, quote, "My mummy, she sings with the angels now." I watched this at about 1 a.m. last night, and I nearly woke everyone up because I went. I'd taken a sleeping pill, and so I'm already like, having to push myself to stay awake. And then she said that line, and I'm like, who wrote this crap, man? It's so bad. It's so. She tries so hard, you guys. Kate, what did you think of Caitlin Mayer?
Well, like I said, the girl needed a throat lozenge in the first one. And when I was watching the second one, I was like, is that because I was kind of over it while I was sort of getting into the second one. And I was like, is that the same girl? What the hell? Why? Why is this happening? Not her again.
It's so weird.
It's bizarre. I mean, she's still got the dead parents, so she's not faring well in movies at all.
No.
Yeah.
Doing terribly.
I got some flack a couple of episodes ago for my comments on Noah Fram's acting ability, who would have been about the same age. And
no, he was younger. He was about 3 or 4, maybe 5 in the movie that you specifically criticized him for.
Like she's just as bad. Like she's given more. Like, she's given a lot, like, tougher material to deal with. Like, Noah Fram just has to be like, dog, you're doing this thing, and he can't do it. But, like, there's a bit in the Search for Santa Paws when the furnace turns on and she's supposed to, like, be scared of it. And she just steps backwards. Her face doesn't change at all. And I was messaging AJ, I was like, you can just imagine, like, what that would have been like on set. Just being like, all right, Robert Vince is there, like, okay, sweetie, so the furnace is going to turn on. It's going to be real scary, okay? So just be scared. And like, okay, and roll. Okay, so you didn't look scared at all. Can you think of something scary? Okay, yeah, you got that in your head? Okay, now let's go again. All right. Okay, no, well, you didn't really look scared. Okay, what I want you to do this time is, can you just take one step backwards? Okay, cool. Yeah, that was that. We'll use that. Whatever.
That's so real, dude. Like Richard and I have both like directed stuff when we were, in film school and various
and
short films. Yeah, and beyond. Have you ever directed anything before, Kate?
No, I have not.
I think every amateur director would tell you that there's a point when trying to get a performance out of an actor where you just can't get
it's
it.
when it's out of someone who's not even an actor.
Yeah.
That's the worst part, when all you've got are your friends who and you think to yourself, anyone can act. No, but like you have to want to try.
Yeah, and so there have been so many times when I've been directing people where they haven't been doing what I'm envisioning, and so you eventually just say, just take a step backwards. Like I have about three chances of trying to talk like spiritually and emotionally to the actor before I'm just talking in physical actions.
Yeah.
Like, just look away. Just look at my finger. And I'll like hold up my finger. I've used a shot that was supposed to be someone looking away in disgust, but they were overacting. And so I said to them, okay, follow my finger. And he followed my finger, and that's the shot I used in the film. That's so real, man, and that's so reminiscent and what it probably would have been like to direct young Caitlin Mayer. Richard, I do like that you brought up the fact that you were roasted for making fun of a young actor, and then you didn't proceed to defend yourself or say anything. You just went and roasted another child actor.
Yeah, well, I was trying to be like, look, I've already made this bed. I'm going to lie in it.
Look, the kid who played Noah Fram is well into like late teens, early adulthood now, but this she's 14. Like, her feelings would still be hurt if she ever heard this.
Well, let's hope she doesn't.
Let's hope she doesn't.
Okay, so the thing
is,
I said that with Noah Fram, it's unforgivable. But like, to an extent, not as much as they try to get away with in these films, but it's almost forgivable because she is cute.
Yeah.
Like
really
she was
though?
obviously cast because of her cuteness and the fact that like a little orphan girl that can be like, oh, I don't know what's going on. That's cuter than just like some snot-nosed little punk who like can't deliver his lines.
I just found her annoying. I'm sorry. She was just so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I found her unbearable and didn't find her cute in the slightest, but I can see why someone would find her cute.
Okay.
The cutest line, I believe, from her was, There'll be laughter, there'll be song. We'll go caroling all night long. If you follow us on Instagram, if you follow Cult Popture on Instagram, you would have seen our story earlier in the week was me watching this movie and just dancing in my lounge to that song because I'd been cracked. I was completely cracked.
Speaking of songs, I like the opening number in the second movie. Got to be honest,
How
the
did that
town
go?
parade. I'm not going to sing it, but the town parade, that was pretty awesome.
A little bit of sizzle. People are going to have to go and watch it to know what you're talking about.
There's more songs
Exactly.
in the second one because there's a song as well in the second one where they're like, where it's about how Santa and Santa Paws are best friends, and it's like it's real like.
Wow, I must have
Hey,
totally zoned out at that one.
Well, yeah, it's like. It's not the characters singing; it's like just a song in the background. But it seems like they were like called up their friend who can play guitar, and it's like, hey, can you write us a song about being best friends? Oh, cool. What's the fee? Oh, we can't pay you. Oh, okay, I'll throw something together then.
The songs in the movies are very reminiscent of when we did Land Before Time and talked about the songs in those movies, how it's less about melody and harmony and more about singing the first thing that comes to your head. Like, okay, I've pulled up the full lyrics to I Do Believe in Christmas.
Oh, God.
And I'm going to read the entire song and we can critique it together.
Line by line.
Yeah. Whenever I hear a Christmas song, I want to get up and sing. That's fine.
Yep,
Yeah,
I do.
we all do that.
Yep.
Yeah. When there's love, I sing along and find some bells to ring.
No.
Kind of lazy.
No.
All right.
Yeah, that's just Christmas words thrown together.
Wherever there's angels up above, wherever there's Christmas trees, there's gonna be peace and hope and love and wonderful memories.
Oof.
There's not.
Bit contrived.
Bit on the
There
nose
is
for
not
me.
going to be all those things when you see this.
Yeah.
There'll be laughter, there'll be song, we'll go caroling all night long. Believing in Christmas makes it magic, can't you see?
Okay, the first part of that I have no qualms with.
There will be laughter, there will be song.
Yeah, and
I'm not going to go caroling all night.
Yeah, I'm not, but that's not.
No.
I'm not going to stop other people from going caroling all night long.
Yeah.
What's the second part?
Believing in Christmas makes it magic, can't you see?
No, I take issue with that.
It's better to give than to receive. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the message you want to send, but
Yeah. Blessings for you and me. Whatever.
Meh.
Staying up late on Christmas Eve. Will there be presents for me?
See, I'm an old lady. I just do not want to stay up late any night, so no thanks.
Yeah, I get in bed as early as I can so that I
Yeah.
can sleep. It'll
Interesting.
be Christmas.
Interesting. There are three lines before this. It says it's better to give than to receive, and then it says, "Will there be presents for me?" Well, it shouldn't matter, should it?
No, it shouldn't. That's exactly right.
Yeah, will I have presents to give?
There'll be laughter, there'll be song, we'll go caroling all night long. Believing in Christmas makes it magic, can't you see? I do believe in Christmas, I believe in love. As sure as there is Santa ringing sleigh bells up above.
I don't know that Santa actually rings the sleigh bells.
No.
I think it's just wind resistance.
Yeah. We do believe in harmony and family and good cheer throughout the year. Okay, that's your prerogative.
Oh well, then why is Christmas so special, eh?
Yeah. Whenever there's hope in the air, whenever we light the tree, whenever there's love in our prayers, that's Christmas time for me. Any
Right.
comments?
Okay. So Christmas time's like a state of mind.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting development.
I don't think the song is saying anything. It's almost like one line was written by a different person. Like they were like, here's the word you have to rhyme it with at the end.
No, yeah, one person's just like, what if we throw in it's better to give than to receive, even though the rest of the song doesn't. It's
Yeah.
all about receiving.
Yeah. Whenever I hear a Christmas song, I want to get up and sing. Whenever there's love, I sing along and find some bells to ring. There'll be laughter, there'll be song. We'll go caroling all night long. Believing in Christmas makes it magic, can't you see? For you and me, I do believe in Christmas. I believe in love. And I think it's just the same thing over and over again. Yeah.
I do
So that's the gist of it.
believe in Christmas.
I believe in love. I believe. Can you do like I believe in love? Like real meatloafy, real like power ballad. I do believe in Christmas. I believe in love.
That would make it a little better.
As sure as there is Santa ringing sleigh bells up above.
That's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right. What if it was?
Well done.
Let's sing it like Creed. And then, there'll be laughter, there'll be song.
I believe in love. I will hear
Oh dear.
This is now adequately relating what these movies did to us. I think. Go watch these movies, people. These are amazing movies. All right. Hey, remember when we used to talk about titles on this podcast?
Yeah.
Because we still do. We're going to talk about the titles now. Before you stop me, there were no slogans. There were no taglines for any of the movies, so we can't talk about the taglines. Right. So these two films, the titles of these two films are classic examples of one of my biggest pet peeves in titles.
Oh, pet peeves.
Yeah, exactly. I nearly put that in bold, and then I was like, I'll remember it, and then I didn't, and just powered through it. You can't call the second film Santa Paws 2 when the first film wasn't called Santa Paws.
Yeah.
It's called The Search for Santa Paws, made doubly frustrating by all the stuff we've already mentioned. And furthermore, the Santa Pups are very much the B or C story of Santa Paws 2, The Santa Pups.
Yeah.
Well, they get captured and then they just spend most of it in a cage.
Yeah, they are gone for probably about 25 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Like in the middle. Yeah. I guess they are the reason that there's trouble happening because they granted the wish, but they didn't have to be puppies. This didn't have to be a Santa Pups movie.
Can we retitle the movies?
Well, I mean, I'd probably just go Santa Paws and Santa Paws 2 because I wanted to think about this.
What about Santa Paws 2, Christmas Cold?
Oh, very good. I like it. Yeah,
because you like you'd look at that Christmas Cold and you're like, well, Christmas is cold, aren't they missing a word there? And then it brings on a whole new meaning when you actually watch the film.
Yeah, really good, really good.
Well done.
Or Christmas Cold, the Santa Paws 2.
Oh no, I don't like it. Did you have any thoughts on titles? This is something we bring up with guests, and I forget to mention how just pedantic I am about titles, but I understand that that's not shared by every person in the world. So what did you think, Kate?
Well, I honestly thought that the first one just was called Santa Paws. I mean, so, so the second one kind of made sense, but yeah, like when the Santa Pups aren't even in the movie, they are, but like halfway through, they're just gone. It's like, it's not really a movie about them, is it?
It's a movie about how young Sarah's mother is singing with the angels now.
Yeah.
And how badass of a female character Mrs. Claus is.
Yeah.
Well, see, I found this movie kind of like a mishmash ripoff of Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music. Again, I'm just like, what is going on with these movies?
Yeah. Well, and as well, so Mrs. Claus becomes Sarah's like nanny because they're looking for a new mother surrogate.
I completely forgot about that storyline.
Yeah. But in traditionally, and I'm not saying they had to do this, but traditionally the father would fall in love with the mother surrogate, right?
Yes.
But Mrs. Claus is already married, so they stay away from that storyline. But maybe that would have been more, imagine cuckolding Santa Claus.
Oh, I was going to say
Imagine being the guy who did that.
made Santa cuck. Santa cuck. I completely forgot about that storyline. But the first one actually has a kind of another cool storyline of like that we didn't really talk about. That like the actual Santa ends up becoming like a mall Santa at this toy store and becomes renowned across the whole town for being like real good. But then
Richard real good.
Yeah.
And yet the store still only makes 1 cent profit.
Yeah, okay. Did you guys get that? Because I didn't.
okay, so basically, when Mr. Hucklebuckle gets his dad's will and finds out that they have to lead it through a financially successful Christmas season,
They have to
look
make
back-
a profit, yeah.
They have to make a profit. They look back at the past, 10 years or something, and see that every year they've only ever made 1 cent. And he's like, "What's going on there?" And then in the film, as real Santa becomes the immoral Santa and starts, being really good at it, they start giving away toys to the needy and the orphans and stuff like that. So the reason they only made 1 cent is because they took nothing for themselves and made enough to have a profit, but
did you notice?
not enough.
Did you notice Mr. Stick Up His Butt Hucklebuckle was like, we can't give away a toy with every purchase, and then he changes it to when you purchase $100 plus worth of toys. I'm like, wow, you're a
No,
Christmas
I didn't
Grinch.
notice that at all.
Yeah.
What the hell?
He did.
That's too.
That's
writers.
still a good offer.
No, but the
is.
writers thought about it too much.
Yeah.
Making
Yeah.
it cost anything is like realistic, but not charming and whimsical.
Yeah, but like it seemed like there was an aha moment that I missed when it realized how it was exactly 1 cent every time, or like he could cooked his books.
Oh, because his dad would have done the same thing and given out heaps of free toys.
Yeah, right.
But still, even then, you've now got you adopt 2 orphans at the end of the film. Like, now you've got a family to provide for. You can't run a toy store that makes 1 cent a year.
Yeah, it's going to fall within a month.
Yeah. All right. So the last segment we've got for the show today, everybody, is continue the franchise. This is where we all pitch a sequel or some way to, for whatever reason we'd want to, continue this wonderful Christmassy franchise. As far as I can Google, there are no plans for a Santa Paws 3, nor were there ever. This is also the end of the line for strictly earbud-centered or adjacent films in the ABCU. However, because we at Cultpopture are completionists, Richard and I will be back reviewing the Pup Star trilogy next week. Which falls under the Earbud Entertainment umbrella. They're more modern. The latest one came out this year, so maybe there'll be laughter, maybe there'll be song. There'll definitely be.
I think
song,
there's going to be
'cause it's called Pup
songs.
Stars. Yeah. Do you think there'll be caroling all night long?
Probably not, unless it's a Christmas themed one.
I don't think they are. We can hope though. So there's 3 of them, and we'll be talking about them next week. So I'll go first because, Kate, you've indicated your one is going to be way more impressive
I hope so.
than what we've got written. And I hope none of us have chosen the same idea. If that happens, then we all go Popture, and we all have to come up with one together.
Okay.
I just made that up like it's a board game. So my Continue the Franchise is based off the wish made at the end of Santa Paws 2. So to undo the wish that that Christmas spirit has disappeared, the boy who made the wish, he wishes that Christmas spirit will be alive forever.
What a
We're
fool.
10 years on from the events of the Santa Pups, and the entire world has been celebrating Christmas for that entire time. This is enforced by the law, with rebel factions of those who don't celebrate Christmas or who are sick of it, hiding out all over the world. It's a totalitarian post-apocalypse. It's a forced regime. It's 1984/Big Brother shit. It's forever Christmas. And neither the Santa Paws nor the Santa Pups or any of the ear buddies or earbud animals appear in the film, but it is considered a sequel.
Right.
So that's my pitch, is that it's
I
been
actually
Christmas for
like that,
10
like
years.
a Christmas apocalyptic dystopian
Yeah.
kind of thing. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, Richard, what have you got, bro?
All right. Well, since you guys, you guys actually put some thought into it. This is like an idea that I'm almost nervous to give away because it's been like if I ever make a Christmas film, this is what I'm going to make. But it's one of those things, the pups are going to be like secondary, or like the dog is somehow going to be like secondary to this. But
Yeah.
I love the idea of like a Christmas movie where Santa, like maybe Christmas cheer is down or something like that, and so Santa, in like say October, goes to Pineville, and he loses weight, cuts his beard, and like dyes his hair, so he just looks like a normal dude. But he's so he looks like say Tim Allen. And then yeah, like by blending in, he's still got a bit of his Christmas magic. Maybe he's got like a little watch that tells him how much he has left. He sort of sees the commercialization of Christmas and realizes that it's not as magical to people anymore. And so he, goes on like a Christmas adventure like that. And so, but I just like the idea of like someone playing Santa, but just looking like a normal dude.
Sounds like you're doing a documentary.
Yeah, maybe it is. It's a found footage Santa Paws sequel. But yeah, and then the dog would,
what if it's like Who is America, and Santa Claus dresses up as different people and goes and like tries to get consumers and people selling stuff at Christmas to say something embarrassing or indicting.
Like Hallmark.
Who is Christmas?
Who is Christmas? Yeah.
Sweet as. All right, Kate, I'm looking very forward to this.
Oh, see, I don't think mine is as impressive as the dystopian Christmas movie now. Damn.
Stop. I've gone all red.
I was kind of keeping mine family-friendly, kind of modern. I thought the next sequel should be like Eli and Eddie going on a Christmas adventure. Because I've got to admit, they were my favourites in these two movies.
Eli is Danny Woodburn's Alf,
yes,
and
Eddie
is Richard Kine's Jack Terrier, I think.
Yep, the Jack Russell.
Terrier.
Yep.
Yeah.
And because they really like to rip off Annie and The Sound of Music, I thought I'd go with that kind of theme. So Eli and Eddie go to the sleepy town of Fair Pineview and aid a hapless inventor with his magical car that he just can't seem to get right, because they've got that whole magic car thing going on, that Eddie and Eli. Yeah. They've got the ELF technology. I'm not sure where the Santa pups fit in, but maybe they could just be in a cage for the whole movie. Who cares? That's not very dog friendly of me, is it? Anyway, like
Scandal. The leader of the Pups''n'-PopCulture podcast just okayed keeping dogs in cages.
Well, they get out eventually, right? I mean, look, they're in a cage in this second movie, so come on. And it was not an appropriate size cage. Thank you very much.
No,
you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
So I guess the town's kind of down on Christmas cheer, like they are in all the movies, and Eli and Eddie, save the day by restoring Christmas cheer and helping the inventor create his magical car so he can reunite and have adventures with his children. And in case you can't tell, I'm going with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang here, that kind of theme.
I get it, yeah.
And I thought I would cast Idris Elba as the dad, because his movies
Good
are
luck.
so right.
We can dream.
Look, this is my sequel,
So
people. Idris Elba is the dad, because they're just so damn white, these movies. And I thought I'd cast his love interest as a dude, Peter Herman, because they're also very straight, these movies.
I love it already.
Right? So either his husband or love interest, take your pick on that one. Yeah. And just my own personal interest, Mariska Hargitay is like the evil dog catcher, because I love her very much.
What's she in?
She's Benson in Law & Order SVU.
Oh, okay. I'll need to look her up, but go on, keep going.
So yeah, I mean, that was just sort of my idea. I just wanted to modernize it, make it sort of less white, more LGBT friendly, and just Mariska Hargitay in it, because I think she's awesome. And rip off Chitty Chitty Bang Bang to keep that theme going. Why not?
Very good. No, that's great. That was probably better than I thought. That was better than my forever Christmas idea. So there you go.
Well, you know,
we're all dishing
I
out
like the
compliments.
dystopian thing.
I'm glad you went with the car theme, because that reminded me. I teased earlier on that there's a really awfully written piece of trivia, and I just went back and found it. So this is in the Search for Santa Paws trivia section on IMDb. It says, quote, "The car from Eli," it's spelt wrong, E-L-L-I. So the car from Eli is changing into a yellow cab taxi, an ambulance, and US mail service car.
Oh, yeah, I follow that.
So I guess they're just talking about what happens to his magic car, but
I was like, where's the
'cause
trivia?
They changed, his car, like, he can disguise it as anything.
Yeah.
And so it, like, flashes through a couple.
But they were really
right.
old
Yeah.
cars.
well, it's a prequel, Kate. It's set in the 1950s.
When
Well,
are
it
you going to
must
fucking learn?
It must be. I mean, geez. No, they mentioned video
Yeah.
games, and that's how the toy industry went dead. So it must be the 1950s, of course.
that old biddy. All right.
Wait, can I just I looked up Caitlin Mayer, and man, her Wikipedia page is so funny. Like, when she was 18 months old, Mayer's parents were worried she was not getting enough sleep. She never stopped singing. Her parents took her to the pediatrician. They found out she just loved singing. What? And then so there's
Thank
a
God.
section. There's a section called, so it's got like early life, and then it has America's Got Talent because she was on that. The next section is called The Goodwin Games. In 2013, Mayer joined the cast of Fox's new comedy series, The Goodwin Games, starring as Piper Goodwin, the daughter of Jimmy Goodwin, played by T.J. Miller. Now, have either of you guys heard of The Goodwin Games?
No.
I have not.
It was cancelled after 7 episodes.
Wow.
And then the next section is called Russell Madness. Mayer is, and this is exactly what it says. Mayer is on the film Russell Madness, directed by Robert Vince, playing the voice of Grace. The film was released on February 21st, 2015.
Wow.
Are they related by any chance?
Yeah, like, well, because I actually think she like went viral with her like audition for America's Got Talent.
Right.
Because I part of me actually like seems to like after looking her up and being like, yeah, she's on America's Got Talent at like their age. Because I remember there was a time when, because obviously Susan Boyle got huge, and her audition is just incredible. But my mum would always like call me into the computer room and be like, "Oh, Richard, there's a new like Susan Boyle, like, they're calling this person the next Susan Boyle because it's like an unconventional person who's like talented." And I remember one of them being like a little girl, and I think it might have been her.
Wow. Cool, man.
But there's so many little girls. That's not exactly original.
Yeah, Caitlin Mayer, get a new shtick.
Yeah.
Other people have got the singing little girl shtick down. Find something new, you dumb 14-year-old.
We should try to get her
Listen,
on the podcast.
Caitlin, if you're listening, this is all in good fun. You're much more famous and successful than I am, so it just stems from jealousy. Anyway, that about wraps it up for the Santa Paws films. Kate, tell us a bit more about your podcast and where we can find it.
Well, I pretty much summed it up. Like I said, it's talking about dogs in pop culture. So we sort of review dog movies and talk about dog books, and just, if there's a dog in it, we're going to talk about it. And I also have guests on that, that share stories about their dogs. So it's sort of cross between the two of them. But people can find me at pups'n'popculture.com and at pups'n'popculture on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And where any good podcasts are found. It's that simple.
Yep. And it's Pups in Pop Culture, right? Like just the letter N.
Letter N,
correct?
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that'll be in our show notes as well. Can I guest star on the show and we talk about Cujo?
Few people have mentioned that movie to me, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't like scary movies.
I thought I was.
What
the
about
first
Old
one.
Yeller?
No.
We are the podcasting leading experts on the Beethoven movies. So we did them. We interviewed the director of 2 of them a while ago. So
Good lad.
good guy he is. Anyway. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Kate. We've very much enjoyed talking to you about the Santa Paws films. And if you want to find Cult Popture, you can find us on all the same places, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Instagram, Twitter, and you can email us at cultpoptionmedia@gmail.com. And yeah, so go check out the other podcasts we've done, other videos and stuff we've done as well if you like. And we'll be back next week with Pup Stars. Yeah, so glad.
Yeah.
And now to play us out, I'm actually going to download I Do Believe in Christmas and play it in its entirety as the show finishes. So see you guys next week and have a Merry Christmas.
Whenever I hear a Christmas song, I want to get up and sing. Wherever there's love, I sing along and find some bells to ring. Wherever there's angels up above, wherever there's Christmas trees, there's gonna be peace and hope and love and wonderful memories. There'll be laughter, there'll be song, we'll go caroling all night long. Believing in Christmas makes it magic, can't you see? Guys, if you don't quiet that puppy, Miss Dad's going to hear him barking. You don't hear Paws talking? Don't you remember Miss Stout's rules about singing? It's better to give than to receive. Blessings for you and me. Staying up late on Christmas Eve. Will there be presents for me? No, you're not listening, Will. There'll be laughter, there'll be song. We'll go caroling all night long. Believing in Christmas makes it magic, can't you see? I do believe in Christmas. I believe in love. As sure as there's a Santa ringing sleigh bells up above. We do believe in harmony, in family, and good cheer throughout the year. Whenever there's hope in the air, whenever we light the tree, whenever there's love in our prayers, that's Christmas time for me.